A blessed day to all of you and also to those fellow worshipers in other parts of the world joining us through this live stream. I found a beautiful and quote from a famous spiritual writer by the name of Thomas Merton, which I think would help us enter into the meaning of the readings today. It says, when we love the other, we obtain from God the key to understanding who God is and who we are. Kapag daw nagmamahal ang tao sa iba, matatanggap nito mula sa Diyos ang susi para maintindihan siya bilang ating Diyos at kung sino tayo. The gospel accounts regarding the resurrection of Jesus, and especially the different personalities related to this event, like his closest collaborators, his disciples. These friends of his, close associate, do not seem to have an idea and much less an expectation that Jesus, whom they believe as Lord, Master, Messiah, would rise from the dead. No one expected him to rise again. In fact, this is one of the arguments against those who rejected and do not believe in the resurrection of Jesus. The objection is this: the idea of the resurrection, according to these objectors, was a product of an ardent desire, intense desire of these friends, fanatics of him, that their leader must continue. So they invented stories about Jesus, that he was alive after his death. And the answer of to this by the church and many theologians would say that this conjecture of non-believers of the resurrection of Jesus is, if there was that ardent and passionate desire of Jesus' disciples to perpetuate him, to make him alive, no? Even if he was dead. The question is, why then that in the scriptures, especially the Gospels, that Jesus' disciples, persons close to him, did not seem to expect that he would rise again? And we see, for example, the women who visited Jesus' tomb very early in the morning, like Mary Magdalene, were not expecting him to be alive. In fact, in another account of the gospel, they were bringing oils, no, to anoint the body of Jesus that was hurriedly buried the day before, no, in order not to be impure and be able to participate in the celebrations of the Passover. So the conclusion, therefore, here is that the risen Lord is or it cannot be a product of the ardent desire and intense longing for Jesus, or the longing of the followers of Jesus to perpetuate Him. And that is, in fact, there are those, all those who met the risen Lord were caught in great surprise, like Mary Magdalene, who thought the Lord as a gardener. The conclusion is, indeed, the Lord is risen, that He is indeed the good news and the root of all other good news that we have. Imagine if everything with, for example, with Jesus ended in the tomb. What would be the meaning of our life today? I don't know if there is a meaning of coming to Mass today if He has not risen. I don't know if there is a meaning at all of trying to be faithful and kind. Siguro, gugulangan mo na lang para pare-pareho lang naman tayo sa mga aso at pusa na ililibing period. I don't know if there is a meaning of what? Love, of service, of forgetting oneself, of sacrifice. Manggugulang ka na lang para enjoy life. No. But because of this good news that we have now, a new story to tell. Humanity has a new beginning, has a new start. Jesus, with His resurrection, has shown us that there is life that is meaningful in following Him. So, whatever He has taught, Jesus now had been validated with His resurrection. Now there is meaning to sacrifice. There is meaning to forgetting oneself. There is meaning to life because Jesus has risen and overcome the final enemy of life, and that is sin and death. Dear friends, as we celebrate Easter, as I've said, I think before such a gift of life, of light and life, is a heart that should recognize and contemplate the goodness of God. Let this, as I've said, be a thanksgiving to God for giving us a new beginning, a new start for the world with His resurrection. In fact, in the early church, they called the resurrection as the new creation, or God's recreating the world and humanity. What can we learn from this resurrection of Jesus? I think, as I've said, it provides us with a new perspective, optic with which we see the reality of our life. First, I think, with the resurrection of Jesus, it relativizes our views and values of what is truly important. Now, we can validate, as I've said, that what counts are the values that Jesus proposed. For example, our friendship with Him, our close relationship with Christ, our affiliation with Christ is something that we should cultivate and develop. Those who were privileged to see, meet, and to be consoled by the risen Lord were the ones who walked with Him, who tried to learn and get to know Him better and follow Him. These were the ones who recognized also the Lord later on. It validated their following of Jesus. It is also a warning for those who seem to be inebriated by power. The powerful who persecuted Him, those who arrogated for themselves the power to judge, to condemn Him to death. Where did they end? The Gospels do not mention them at all, neither history. Kaya yung sigurong napakahalagang aral din para sa atin, huwag kang masyadong palalo sa kapangyarihan. Power is relative. Di natin hawak ang ating buhay, mas lalo na ang ating kaligtasan. And we see also in the experience of the resurrection that love prevails. As I quoted at the beginning of this homily, the quote from Thomas Merton, who said, "When we love the other, we obtain from God the key to understanding who God is and who we are." For Mary Magdalene, it must have been love for the Lord that led her to go to the tomb early in the morning, to continue to serve Him. It is the love that led her to defy conventions of their time and the obstacles to see and to be with the Lord. Surely that love for the Lord was rewarded by being constituted as the first witness of the resurrection of the Lord and became the first messenger of the good news. What conquers death is love. Jesus' love for humanity that brought salvation, and it is also the love like that of Mary Magdalene that enables us to understand God, His designs, His ways, and we can better understand who we are, that we have been made partakers of Jesus' victory over sin and death because of His love. Let this season of Easter be this, a season of gratitude, of joy and gratitude, contemplating what God has done for us. After having made so many sacrifices, privation to ourselves during Lenten season, now let it be a time to celebrate, to contemplate God's goodness and love. May the joy, the new beginning that God has afforded us through Jesus Christ be felt, be celebrated in our hearts, in our families, and our communities. Amen.